Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. We're going to be here for a couple hours, and if you want to join us, it's 1-800-229-3000. And when I say we, I'm talking about Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. How you doing?
Hey,
Doing
everybody.
good. Hi, Steve. Hi, Milan.
Hey, Jackie. Good to see you,
Good
and
to
good to
see
see
you
you,
too.
Steve.
Good to see both of you, because both of you, I'm going to be with both of you. This weekend, I'm going to be with you, Milan, with Intimacy in Marriage right there in Washington, D.C. And it's very important that something good be going on there in Washington, D.C., and we're going to bring some really good stuff. And then Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris is going to be on emotional freedom. It's a virtual event, August the 20th, and we've just had so many great things happen when people attend this. There wasn't a place for them to go for talk about depression the way we do, or anxiety, those kinds of things. And so I'm really excited about that too. I want to remind everybody that we are sponsoring an amazing event called Lumina. It is at the Museum of the Bible, and it is a life-changing event. Jen Wilkin, one of the best-selling authors here, she's got 10 books out and great Bible studies, and she is an advocate for biblical literacy. And her passion is to become articulate and committed followers of Christ, to help people be that. And she serves as the executive director of Family and Next Gen Ministries at Village Church in Flower Mound, Texas. You're going to love her. She's amazing. And then Nicole C. Mullen, probably the most popular singer, performer, and now speaker, she's going to be there. She's got 2 Grammy Awards, and she's been Female Vocalist of the Year. She had Song of the Year, Redeemer, and she's a great author. And she loves to see the power of redemption and the relevancy of Scripture in everyday lives. All of this, along with one amazing story that you're just not going to believe about somebody that was in ministry, and before the minister died said, "I'm so sorry, one day you will regret ever knowing me." It's going to be amazing. It just happens to be at the Museum of the Bible. We'll include a lot of things there, but this is the event that you want to bring a girlfriend to, or if you're a ministry leader, fill a bus, because it's going to be powerful. This auditorium we're in, I mean, it's just got everything from sound and lighting. It's going to be amazing. So you can go online. You can go to the New Life website, and there it is, Lumina. Click on that. It's another way that you can find out about this amazing event. In the meantime, Intimacy in Marriage coming up this weekend. It's not too late to become involved in it. Milan, I think we always talk about how radically amazing it is for people that hate each other for tearing up divorce papers. But there's another group of people it really is for, and those are the people have a pretty good marriage, but they don't know what they're missing. And what do you think about that?
Well, everybody has an inherent blindness to who and what they are. We don't see ourselves well. That's why we need other people to reflect to us what do they see and perceive. And I like the way one person said it recently. What's it like to be in my wake? You know, when my speedboat goes by, and to ask what that experience. And one of the things you talk about, Steve, in that workshop is repairing and working on your side of the street.
Right.
And most people are blind to their side of the street. They're usually focused on somebody else. We're going to help them work on that this weekend.
We are. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom online workshop is Saturday, August 20th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or register online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. I'll just mention that we have a counseling network and a coaching network, and boy, we can give you some great one-on-one help if you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You've heard me say it before, two toughest things to say, Worcestershire sauce, and then the second, I need help. But you can say it. You can do it. I can't do the first one, but I can do the second, and I've had to do it many, many times. All right, let's go to Beth, Woodbridge, Virginia. And let's see here. She listens, of course, to WAVA. I don't know why my little iPad won't respond to my big thumb. Hi, Beth. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks so much for asking. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling us.
Question.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, y'all are the best always. My question is, do you have, or is there any information out there currently that is medical proof that if smoking marijuana or vaping marijuana will affect an unborn child?
You know, I don't have anything off the tip of my tongue or tip of my hand, fingers, whatever, some type of tip about that. I'm going to look it up, though, and we're going to see if there is anything before this program's over, so please stay tuned. But let me ask you this. How did you come to start smoking pot? Because people that smoke pot usually have a bit of anxiety that needs to be settled down. I'm just wondering, for you, what was it?
It's really not for me, but we have a family member, and I don't think that she would have done it during pregnancy because she's very, very careful. But the grandson that she has, or my grandson anyway, that the son she has, he is exhibiting something like what might be, don't know exactly because there's no diagnosis, but it could be autism, Asperger's, probably more like autism. And he's only 4 now, but he still isn't talking. He's just focusing like on one thing kind of thing. And I will note that in the family, there's been a history of attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, bipolar maybe, Asperger's possibly. So.
And you're thinking this might be caused by, it might be caused by her smoking pot?
It might exacerbate it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Whether pot smoking had something to do with it, the main thing is that she deal with this child with the best resources possible. Great parenting isn't knowing what to say all the time or but it's knowing what resource do I need when this child comes up with a problem. Jacqui Mack-Harris, what are you thinking?
So there's a website you can go and get some information about this on. It's samhsa.gov. So SAMHSA.gov. hsa.gov and look up marijuana and pregnancy, and it'll give you the information you were looking for. So that's the answer to that question. And then I just agree with Steve. You shared that there is a family history of several things, and so I would think it's probably more likely that it's hereditary or environmental. But what Steve said just makes so much sense to me and resonated. Just being the parent that is taking or providing all the resources and using all the opportunities to get this child the best possible care and early intervention makes a huge difference with skills development and social development and just having more life satisfaction. So the sooner they can start to focus on this superpower of this kid, right? The neurodivergence doesn't necessarily mean a crippling of a person and destruction of their life. It's just a difference in the way the brain is functioning. And once we understand that, we can do things differently to manage maybe the conflict between the way this brain works and the way somebody else's brain might work.
Milan, your thoughts here.
All right.
Well, Beth, do you feel like your answers have been received? Are you okay with everything we said so far?
Yes. I think that knowing my daughter, I know that she would do what's best for him, and she's looking into all of that.
Because
just one thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just interested in why you asked that question.
Good question.
The marijuana, either directly smoking or vaping, and the effects on the fetus. And I was just curious why, because he's 4 years old now. So are you trying to create a cause and effect that may have been the cause for what you're seeing in terms of his developmental behavior?
I think I was just trying to put maybe some links together to help, if possible, some way kind of help and get the information to her. I know that she does quite a bit of that because she does have a lot of anxiety, panic attacks and stuff like that, and trauma. So she's trying to medicate those things with that. I just don't know how much of it she did when she was with him, and even if it was that outward for her at that time 4 years ago. I don't know. Well, I was just trying to put some two and two together.
Well, I appreciate that. The reality is what is most important is what's happening now. If she's still smoking pot as a parent, if she's still, using various things to, medicate the anxiety and the panic, she really does need to get some professional care to help her with that. And then then see the son as a separate question. What is the real diagnosis? Because you gave us several, and we want to know really more professionally really what is going on. And then you want the best treatment for both of them, Beth. The best for both is what I want to encourage you to remember.
The best gift for the child is paying for him to be assessed and properly diagnosed. The best gift for her is to get her or provide a resource of counseling for her to get to whatever is unresolved within her. Now, I do have what Massachusetts General Hospital, which is part of Harvard Medical School, so this isn't a bunch of right-wing or whatever you'd say, or uptight people. I mean, I think you can trust this. But they talk about the impact of any type of cannabinoid for the obstetrical outcome. There's impairment of fallopian motility. There's ectopic pregnancy is increased. But I want to go over here to the back. There's folic acid uptake problems, cellular growth problems, and neural development problems that they have researched that this is much, much more common with pot smoking mothers. And one of the things they ask, what is the benefit versus the risk? And the risk is so much greater than any benefit that someone might claim. It's always important to remind people that not everything that is legal is good for everybody.
That's
High
right.
sugar intake is legal, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
it's good. Tobacco is legal, not good. So it's important to have those things. But I hope that you will let us help you. Hang on the line so we can help you. And I just feel so badly for her. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and the workbook on chemical dependency, because I believe she probably most likely is dependent on something outside of herself coming into her system to take care of something that's inside her mind and her spirit, and we want to help her with that. And I'm really glad that you called. Hold on, let's see if we can find the resources for you. All right, let's go to Katie, St. Lake City, Utah. And she listens on the internet. My wife and I were just speaking in Utah. What a great, wonderful place.
I think that's Salt Lake City, Utah.
I missed it. What did I say?
You said Saint Lake. And
well, it is saintly. You know, it's really saintly. There you go. And you're the salt of the earth when you're near Salt Lakes, like a saint should be. All right, thank you for that correction, Milan. Okay, Katie, how are you?
Good morning. I
Hi.
have a cousin that has been married for 20 years, has 3 children. She and her husband are both 50 years old, and he keeps meeting women on the internet, and he keeps cheating on her. I think she's going to have a nervous breakdown. It's to the point where she can't even brush her teeth in the morning because she's that sad. She cries 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to help her. I've referred her to you guys, to other women's groups. She's too weak to go.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, Milan. What are you thinking here?
where does she live, Katie? I mean, how far from you is a better question, Katie. How far does she live from you?
About a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
And he had so much control over her. I don't even think he wants me talking with her. But I'm afraid that she will have the breakdown.
So, Katie, there at some level needs to be a breakdown. Just a realization that she is trapped, that she is in a very panicky place. She's in one of those escape rooms that you can't figure out how to get out of, and that's what she's in.
She is.
Here's my recommendation. Go get her. Take her to an ER. Take her yourself. And get her into a place where she can get some help for her panic and anxiety, as well as someone that will be able to meet with her. You take her into an ER, and what's going to happen is the resources will be made available to her there. Psychiatric referrals, social services, et cetera, to really help her. What would you add, Jacqui? Anything?
Yeah, I agree. That's the same thing I was thinking. If you're close enough to be able to go and get her, that's maybe the best option if she can't get herself up even to brush her teeth. It's very unlikely she's going to be able to get herself up and out and talking to someone and using the resources and advocating for herself. So taking her to the ER.
May I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
This has been going on for at least 4 years. I'm really afraid. She's afraid to tell him.
Yeah.
Don't do
Okay.
that to me.
All right.
She's afraid of being alone.
Okay. So she's afraid of him, and so I'm going to suggest
That
something.
he's going to leave her.
Yeah. He's already left her. He has essentially broken every vow repeatedly. So she is living in an undeclared divorce. Now,
Okay.
Jesus said, don't divorce, right? Except
And
if your partner is unfaithful. Well, she has
She
no.
knows that.
Okay.
She told me
okay.
that,
let,
but
just
she
let me
won't
let me
do
finish.
it.
Let me finish. She has no power or strength to do that. So I'm going to tell you what I think is the ultimate outcome here. You have her pack her bags and come see you. After you have found an attorney that's reasonable, that you can afford for her, that will serve him divorce papers and a restraining order on the same day, so he can't come find her and do something. Now, when you do that, a guy like him either wakes up and says, oh my goodness, she's done something I didn't realize she was capable of, and it motivates him to change, or not. But look, what she's living in is a horrific, horrific situation. And so when she comes to you, that's when you can take her to ER and get her assessed, but help her do the paperwork to protect herself and move on.
I just feel like I'm at the end of my rope with her.
All of a sudden, my daughter is saying, we're going to pack up and move.
We've been having little disagreements here and there about grandmom's input.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Courageous Parents, Transforming Relationships with Your Adult Sons and Daughters. It's an online workshop Saturday, August the 13th, with Dr. Jim Burns, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and me. I think it will change the way you see your adult children.
That last young adult leaves and you become an empty nest parent. You have to reinvent the way you do life, but it gives you lots of great opportunities to live your best life in the second half.
With insightful teaching and the guidance of a credentialed New Life counselor, this one-day online workshop will provide practical advice and hopeful encouragement for navigating the parent-adult-child relationship. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
He needs an advocate.
Welcome back. We are looking forward to taking your calls.
Me too.
And you are too.
Yeah. And so, Milan, you had a comment you wanted to make. Let's just finish with that comment for Katie about the situation her cousin's in.
You know, I'm a lifeguard. I was trained as a lifeguard, and my wife was. And so if we see anybody in trouble, we run toward them. We still do. Even on vacation today, you know, we still pull people out of the water. Here's the deal. She's drowning, and somebody needs to run to her and help to get her out of there. And so it has to be done in a way that's wise, in which, you know, she is safe. Maybe the husband's at work, whatever. A plan needs to be made. Now, what Katie, she's stuck with is she's stuck between the tension, and here's the tension. I'm afraid of him, and I'm afraid of being alone. You see, and that is a real dilemma. These are both bad choices for her. Until she gets to a place where she answers the question and also gets professional and medical help to help her have less panic going on in her life. Panicky people do not respond well. You know, they don't respond logically, and they don't respond to left brain interventions. because the right brain is taking them on a journey where they literally can't think. So I just think she has to be rescued, and somebody has to go get her and take her to the nearest full ER that has, all the possibilities available to her.
Yes,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
psych eval center and all that.
All that.
And I'm going to send you a book called Take Your Life Back,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that can give you some insight to help with her take her life back. Now, just want to be clear, we don't like divorce. We hate divorce. We're not divorce advocates. But when somebody is out there having sexual intercourse with other people and then coming back home and forcing their wife to, it's horrible. And I'm so sorry that it's taken so long for somebody to say, hey, what can I do here? Very, very sad. But Katie, good job of you stepping in there for her. And I'd love to hear what happens, because it's a really, really tough situation. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. That is the phone number. We'd love to talk to you, and so call us. We'll be here for another hour and one half. Right now, let's go to May. May's calling from Pasadena, California. Didn't get that wrong. And she is listening on a podcast. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
We're doing okay also. How could we help?
Yeah. So I was actually being diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer 2 years ago. And I was off work for 10 months. And after I went back to work, most of my job has been distributed, and when I came back, I do not have a lot of work, but they gave me some that it's really hard to do. Mm-hmm. It's just the whole job that I'm handling is just totally changed. And like in March this year, I got diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, and 4 days later, I got a laid off notice from them. It's a total of 100 people, and I'm on the list. Mm-hmm. And before, I was a really good fighter. I fight for my family, my friends, whoever support me, and I get through with faith. And I'm really having strong spirit. And this time, with the two really, really major impact on my life, I'm feeling like I'm seeing two deadlines, because the laid off is not until next year. I still am going to work, and so in my mindset, I'm like, I can die anytime with my metastatic breast cancer, and that's another deadline that I'm going to be laid off next year. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting into a hold, and I'm drilling down, like I want to live for everyone that support me, my faith, Jesus, God, and it's just I'm in a deep, deep depression right now that I cannot get out. I cannot function at all. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of support. I actually call hotline. I have therapists. I just use all the resources that I can have right now during my employment. So I'm going to see a psychiatrist next week, but it seems like I don't know how I can go forward, because it's just because I'm very, very, very tired, and I've been praying a lot. I cannot feel like God is listening to me, because I just got a diagnosis from Saturday. I had a tumor in my spine, and it was not being shrunken down with radiation, but now it's even spreading along the spine. So I'm really hopeless right now. Okay. I feel very, very weak.
All right. Now, you hear the music. I have to take this break. You hold on. We want to give you some help right after this. So hold on, May. You're You're listening to New Life Live. Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, Milan Yerkovich, Steve Arterburn here. 1-800-229-3000. Come join us. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we're talking with May, really in a tough place, stage 4 cancer, laid off, and doesn't feel that connection to God. May, I just want to say this. We really feel so much compassion for you, what you're going through. I'm glad that you've called us here. I'm just going to say that it isn't unusual that these kinds of things would put you into a depression where you just aren't able to sense God's presence. Now, this may not mean anything, but I absolutely know that God is there for you, even though, as you say, you can't feel his presence. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and he loves you. And, you know, in an evil world, cancer happens. In a fallen world, we get sick. And I'm so sorry that that's what's happening to you. But just keep praying to God, asking him to make himself known to you. Ask him for healing while you tell him, but I submit to your will. I just wanted to say that. Milan, what are you thinking as she approaches this a really, really hard time?
May, I am so sorry to hear your story. You know, my heart goes out to you, and I sadly just have had many friends and acquaintances go through something similar. I'm so sad for you. What you're describing is absolutely overwhelming. Okay? And I want you to know I hear that. And when something's overwhelming, we're naturally depressed because it just is like a heavy weight and a cloud on top of us. But I have a question for you. You said, are you crying?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my question.
Yeah.
You're so strong, and you're so strong to fight for everybody, but can you cry?
I can, but I try not to. The reason why is afterwards, then I will have really bad anxiety at night.
Okay.
And I feel like my head's going to split.
Okay.
So I try not to.
But you know, God is the inventor of crying. He gave us tears and tear ducts, and stress hormones are actually released through our tears. That is, they come out of our body through our tears. And, you know, a grief recovery group, a group of people that are dealing with present-day grief might be a place for you to find some camaraderie and friendship and fellowship around that theme of I'm not alone here in this. And I agree with Steve. We continue to pray that God might somehow spare us from this, but we have to then, when and if the answer is no, we have to accept it, which is very, very hard. Jacqui, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I agree with what Steve and Milan have said. It just breaks my heart that you're going through this. It all sounds so hard and so overwhelming. And you'd mentioned like feeling hopeless and weak, and you've just been so strong for everybody else and such a fighter, and you're tired and you're going through treatments and getting new diagnoses. The way you're feeling emotionally makes sense. It doesn't sound like weakness at all. It sounds very much like the reality of your situation is getting to you, and that just makes sense. Your body is in a fight for your life. So I just want to say that just makes me sad for you, and that we'll be praying for your strength in all of this. And I also agree that there has to be a sense of acceptance, and maybe being able to go through a grief process and join with some others who are in that grief process of prolonged grief. You're in this perpetual grief. It's this ongoing series of losses, your own personal losses, but also that, you know, the loss of the job and your abilities and the tasks that you did before, and maybe even the way you're able to interact with people. All of that has changed. And so getting into a group of other people, have you had any connections? Have there been any resources provided to you through your oncologist of support groups of people who may be going through what you're going through?
Yeah, I did join a support group, but my situation is kind of unique that I got laid off at the same time. So I cannot really relate to anyone. And some group that I went to, they are more on physical pain. And I have some physical pain, but not as bad. It's more and more in emotional. So joining those groups actually doesn't really help, and actually scare me more, because I hear how hard they are fighting for in physical terms. And I'm not there yet, and I'm feared that I'll go into that. So I actually told the director of the group that I think it's best for me to not join them, because it gives me more fear on
Well, good job advocating and speaking up for yourself, because you have to find what works best for you. And there are resources out there. You can check them out. I think that's great that you checked them out and said, no, this doesn't fit for where I am right now, and that you're still seeking out help and assistance.
Jacqui, speak to the concept, though, that she can really put that mentality can put her into a state of isolation. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I appreciate the fact that you're able to advocate for yourself and to say this one isn't working for me, but I do encourage that you would continue to try to find some group of people. And I know you have a good support system, and so are there people in your support group? Is there a peer counseling program that you can connect with? It's important to have someone that you can be meeting with and talking through some of these things on a regular basis. So some churches have support groups where you can come. Some churches have peer support groups where you can join or have your own peer counselor. But it is important for you to have a person that you can be with.
All right. I'm so glad that you called. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible with, it has a workbook that helps you go through the grieving process. You work the steps for the grief process. And so I'm going to send that to you, and I hope somehow that is helpful to you. You know, Bill W., who came up with the 12 steps, he said, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. And acceptance is so hard when life hits us with hard things, but that's the direction that we need to find a way to head. And if we don't have that way, then we need help. And that's what we're here for at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want to join us on the program, it's 1-800-229-3000. Deborah called that number from Minneapolis, Minnesota, listens on Sirius XM. Hi, Deborah. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. What do you have for us?
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I wanted to talk about the Restore weekend I went to in Dallas.
Oh, this past weekend you went. Oh,
yes,
tell us about it.
I did. Yes.
What happened?
It was amazing, life-changing. I have met 8 wonderful ladies through this process. My first husband was addicted to pornography, and he also cheated on me. And I started having a drinking problem because of that.
Yeah.
That's how I would cope. And then I got a divorce, and I remarried 4 years ago, and my other husband now has an addiction to pornography.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And yeah, I was sober last summer 8 years, and I relapsed. And now I'm coming up on a year again, and I'm
Good for you.
active in AA. And you mentioned Bill W. But the Restore weekend filled in the missing piece
Good.
for me.
Good.
Yeah, it was incredible. Learned so much, met some amazing ladies, and very grateful, and that God has redeemed me, and I have hope again.
All right, I want you to hold on,
excited
because
for that.
I got a couple of questions I want to ask you when we come back from this break.
Sure.
Oh, so glad to hear somebody came to a New Life event, and the goal was achieved. Life changing. That's what we're all about. We'll take a break and come back. If you want to join us, the phone number, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be here for another hour, 10 minutes or so, or 20 minutes. 1-800-229-3000. And by the way, 1-800-NEW-LIFE has so many resources for so many problems you might be struggling with. We'll be back.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. July 22nd to the 24th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a new life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and Deborah went to Restore. And Deborah, you said it was life-changing. What was it like before you went to Restore? I'm just curious about that.
My husband and I are working on some things, and I would go to my meetings through AA and do a lot of reading, but the trigger for me was his betrayal.
Yeah.
And I just read a lot of books, did this and that, and I just got to the point where I said, I got to do something different here. And so I did. And that missing piece was finding some amazing women to join me on this journey and to support one another. I have that in my other addiction help, but this part here, it was a huge missing piece. And when I finished and was flying home, I just thank God for that missing piece because it brought everything together. And I realized I have to work on myself. I have to be good. I have to be healthy. And I started learning how to do that in regards to the betrayal. And I'm just so grateful. Grateful to Laura and Stacy. They were our speakers. Jean was our counselor in our group. And they said you would love these women by the end of the seminar. And, of course, all of us are looking at each other. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
We do. Yeah, we have that connection, and we'll be staying in touch. And, God is faithful, and it was amazing.
Thanks for calling us. By the way, do you have a Life Recovery Bible?
I do not. I have about everything else but that.
Well, I'll send you a Life Recovery Bible, and I will send you the workbook. We have a little workbook that goes with it. It's the next best-selling.
That'd be great.
But anyway, I'll get that to you. Almost 4 million people have a Life Recovery Bible or have purchased it. And if you're recovering and you don't have one, oh my goodness, you are going to be so happy that you got it. I'm going to go to Elaine. Don't have a lot of time here toward the end. If you want to join us on the next program, it's 1-800-229-3000. Hi, Elaine from Hanover, Pennsylvania. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. What's going on with you today?
Well, actually, I heard May call in, and I have a very similar story to her, but I'm a couple years down the road in comparison. So I just kind of wanted to, if she's still listening, give her a little bit of hope, if that's possible.
Okay. What is it?
Okay. So essentially, what I heard her say was that she was just recently diagnosed with metastatic.
Yeah.
And I think she said she was diagnosed on Saturday.
Yeah.
So to be quite honest with you, everything that she's feeling right now is completely where she probably should be.
Yeah.
She's going to go through, as you said, a pretty extreme grieving period. And, for me, it took me about a year to get out of that place. Mm-hmm. And she did say she was going to be laid off. And I did stop working because, as she had said, her group members were having some pain, and I had bone pain. But the radiation did take that away. And, it's hard to understand God's purpose for you in this space.
No kidding.
I do feel like she just needs to keep praying and walk through that grief. And she's going to come out the other side of that grief, understanding that, maybe this disease is with her for a good bit.
Yeah.
But she can live a happy, healthy life, especially with the people that are surrounding her. She said she had a good support group or support system, and she'll learn how to move forward and live with metastatic disease.
Well, thank you for that encouragement of her. Just to show my appreciation for you calling, I'm going to send you a copy of Healing is a Choice. I'm also going to send May a copy of Healing is a Choice. We not all the time can we physically heal, but there are a lot of things we can do to heal emotionally and spiritually. We can do what we can do, and then God does what we cannot. Go ahead.
Can
Mike.
I just say one quick thing?
Yeah.
Elaine, I love one of the points that Elaine brought out, which was May had just learned of the metastasized cancer last Saturday. Mm-hmm. And so really May is in a state of trauma. Mm-hmm. She's in a hugely traumatized state. And when people are traumatized, they really need a lot of help, guidance, and they lose their way. Mm-hmm. They lose their orientation. Yeah. And that was a great point, Elaine. Thank you for calling. That was a beautiful encouragement.
Appreciate that.
I agree.
Let me give you a scripture here. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." And whenever we encounter something very difficult, Satan, I really believe, would love for us to abandon God, tell us things that aren't true. But God loves us. He's there for us. He doesn't say he'll prevent every tear. He says, I will wipe away every tear, because it's a fallen world. This isn't what he intended. He built the Garden of Eden, and we took it from there. And the only solace I have in Adam and Eve making that horrible mistake, if it had been me, I would have made the same mistake. In the meantime, there are things you can do with whatever you're going through. This weekend, Intimacy in Marriage in Washington, D.C. I hope if you're struggling in your marriage, or you want a better marriage, or you absolutely hate each other, this is the best option. If we knew of a better option, well, we'd tell you about it. And then we'd try to do it ourselves. But we've been working on this for years. Milan and Kay do such an amazing, amazing job. Please call us and let us just talk to you. If you can't afford it, perhaps there is a scholarship just for you. Every Man's Battle is going to be online August the 6th. And one woman said, my husband went to Every Man's Battle last week and I was at Restore. Your resources are so helpful, specific, and empowering. I thank God for your ministry. We have work to do, but I see hope for our marriage and our future. I believe it will be better than it ever was. See, that's an amazing transformation of direction right there. And we love it when people come alongside us and say, I want to be a partner to that kind of transformation. I want to help do great things. If you're that person, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and be a supporter, a partner with us. We're grateful anytime that God uses us for transformation. We were founded on transformation, 1988. Never here to make people just feel better. We want you to transform every part. God renews the mind. He changes the way we think when we let him do what he wants to do. All we have to do is have a willingness to do it. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us on the next program. See you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.